This is the Art Beauty Podcast, where we are always reaching for truth in beauty. Now, the brands on this show are not paying to be here, which means that we get to have candid conversations because you deserve to be informed so you can make the best choices for yourself. And with that, today, my fabulous co-host is Stacey Kilfoy. She is here with Leaf and Flower. This is a fabulous hair care line. It's all about CBD and hair care, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later in the show. But first of all, I want to congratulate you on getting a coveted NewBeauty Award. This just came out. Congrats.
Thank you so much, Amber. We are all so excited for our Leaf and Flower Instant Volume Shampoo and its win for Best CBD Volume Shampoo. It's really exciting for us, especially being a new brand, and it's such a expansive marketplace and shelf space to have that recognition, especially from the beauty experts at NewBeauty, is really meaningful for all of us. So we're so appreciative. And again, we're just so excited.
Now, I have to tell everybody, people who've listened understand I work with NewBeauty. I was so excited that the team loved this product as much as I do, because this is a product that I have used. I got to try it. I guess it was a couple months ago I first started using it. I have keratin in my hair, so my hair is always pretty flat. This was the only volumizing shampoo ever that gave my hair like some zhuzh, some volume back. So I've got to thank you. And, we'll talk about these products in a little bit, but I have to tell you that, for everybody who's listening, I bring the products that I love that I think you're going to love. This is a brand. Man, do I love it. So, before we start talking about the products, let's talk a little bit about the CBD, because I feel like we have now seen CBD in everything. It has exploded into the market, everything from face creams to foot creams, so I guess I'm not surprised that it's now in hair care. But for our guests listening, can you give us a little refresher about why CBD is important, and then also what it's doing when it's in our hair care?
Well, I think one of the things that's so exciting right now is, to your point, we now see CBD in everything. And I think we saw it in that space for, health and for joint support. And then it started having those applications in the beauty segment. And what's interesting is that the research that has opened up for CBD over the years has been incredible, because it's shown us a spectrum for CBD, which I'm not sure how many people are aware of, but they have identified over 100 cannabinoids that have effects and benefits for the body. And they're just getting started. There's so many more that they haven't even tapped into, because it is such a blue water space now that it's opened up, now that it's been seen and it's been proven that CBD can inherently have those THC-free qualities. So there isn't a drug component to it. Right. And now we're meeting all of these different CBDs. So yes, there are amazing benefits for it, but what's unique and what got us excited about CBD was that discovery of the additional cannabinoids, and the ones that our R&D team discovered that have incredible benefits and a noticeable effect on the hair from the root to the tip is not only cannabidiol, which is CBD, but cannabigerol, which is CBG, and cannabichromine. And when you put these three together, you are bringing out the inherent qualities and amplifying them for those effects on the hair. So for us, people can say, well, I've seen CBD in this shampoo and that brand, and hey, every brand has great products and great attributes. But what's unique about Leaf and Flower and what makes ours so different is that entourage created by using CBD, CBC, and CBG in concert together.
Okay, so, talking about CBD, from what we've had, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, but we have this sort of endocannabinoid system.
Yes.
And CBD is sort of like the locking key that goes in and sort of helps to support that system.
Exactly. And it helps to create and support that homeostasis within the body, and it responds to your central nervous system as well. So it's really helping support so many bodily functions. And I think what's unique too about CBD is kind of like how with a vitamin C, when you take vitamin C, that supports your immune system because it goes right in there and kind of attaches to all those receptors. You're getting that similar type of effect, but for different functionality within the body. Specifically in our case, we're seeing it with hair at the root, at the follicle, at the growth of it, with the CBC, because it is those phytocannabinoids, which are the naturally occurring in plants, are responding to and attaching to your point, the lock and key with those natural endocannabinoid receptors that have been in our bodies since, our creation.
Right. So when it comes to hair care, right? Because I feel like I've heard a lot about CBD is a great thing for inflammation, certainly pain. Now we see it in a lot of skincare again, that's kind of targeting aging, inflammaging. When it comes to hair care, and you were talking about it like, from the root, what are some of the benefits that we're getting, or what are are there any studies that you're seeing about things, about effects that it's having specifically on our hair?
Well, because those cannabinoids have specific amino acids attributed to them, they're having different effects on the hair. For example, CBD is enriched with amino acids, and those amino acids are helping to support the formation of fuller, thicker hair. So that inherent quality of the hair, if you have fine hair, if you have fragile hair, it's actually helping support that formation, so it will start growing in fuller, thicker, noticeably more healthier looking, which is a huge attribute.
I have to tell you, so you can't really tell here, but this is almost empty here because I use this one every single day. And I will tell you, I went to go get a haircut recently, and I've got a lot of these. You can kind of see them like baby hairs coming up. And I was asking her, I was like, "Oh shoot, is that breakage?" And she said, "No, that's new hair growth. What are you doing?" And I said, I don't know, but maybe this is kind of helping it out."
Yeah, it probably is, because as you are cleansing, and let's point out that you are gently yet effectively cleansing, your hair, you're also nourishing the scalp with the CBD, the CBG, and the CBC. So you are getting that benefit as you're massaging it into your scalp throughout your hair and getting all those good nutrients right there at the root.
So let's talk about, like, who are the people, I know that you've got two main lines, right? One is the volumizing line. One is the sort of damage repair line. But what kind of hair conditions are these products really meant for? Or what have you seen? Or has there been any studies? Do you have any before and afters where you've seen incredible volume or growth or
Well,
repair?
I think what's, common with every hair type and every hair texture is some form of damage.
Right.
That's the reality of life. And we know this, especially as women, we're going in and we're either coloring our hair, we're lightening our hair, we're getting a smoothing service, to your point. And, we add into it, doesn't matter where you are in terms of the age spectrum, everyone has maturing hair at a different level. And of course, there's environmental stress, there's UVA exposure, and of course, good old fashioned mechanical and heat damage, whether it's from combing or it's from blow drying. So the hair is undergoing all sorts of stress throughout the day. Even when we're sleeping, what are we doing? We're turning over and rubbing our head in our pillow. So our hair really never gets a break 24 hours. And because of that, it's really important that your care products are addressing those needs that your hair is enduring every day. And so for us, we know that damage is commonly occurring, but it's different in every hair type. That's why we have repair, which is more for your thicker, more coarse hair, our volume line, which is for finer, thinner, fragile, more maturing hair. And then we just launched our curl line recently, and that's for wavy and curly texture. So you are getting those reparative benefits, but also addressing the specific needs of those different hair types.
Got it. I'm so glad you brought up the hair types, because when we were doing a lot of the testing for New Beauty, and we employ so many of the Brain Trust members, of course, the New Beauty editors, but there were so many different hair types and textures that I have to say really all enjoyed this volumizing line. But you would say if we were choosing a leaf and flower, maybe if we've got thicker hair, go with the damage repair line. And if you've got thinner, finer hair like myself, volumizing is sort of more of the way to go, and then go with the curly line.
Of course. And then, it's also too, some people like to mix and match based on, because, not every curly hair type is the same. You could have, curly hair and be one of the rare ones where it's in such good condition. It's not dry. It's not thirsty.
Right.
So you might be able to use something that's not as hydrating in terms of a conditioner. So it's nice that you can mix and match within the line, but most people find that by sticking within the categories, they're getting the incredible results that they're looking for. And another benefit too, and at least for me personally, I love the volume line, not just because I'm fine and thin and my hair is maturing, but also because I have extensions. And so
Oh,
I like to create the fullness between my fine, thin hair and my lovely extension hair so that it blends better and it looks more natural. So
oh,
it's
girl, I love
really
that you're bringing up
advantageous.
extensions because I wore them for years. Or do you do that? I know you're not supposed to say the T word, but do you do the tape-in ones or do you do like the keratin bonded ones?
I do a weft that's beaded in.
Okay, so you do the beaded. So I used to do the tape-in ones.
Okay, I
Um,
did those too when I started.
and love them. First of all, they go in an hour. E- they came out really easy, but no matter what, I found that after about 6 weeks, that hair, like the texture is a little bit different, as it starts to go down. Extensions they're like a fabulous thing. And then they also can be a little bit of a beast. It's a high, you know what? Let me take that back. They are amazing. They are high maintenance though.
They really are high maintenance, and that's why it's so important to use quality hair care when
Yeah.
you're caring for extensions because it's real hair. And so you want it to look as good for as long as possible, but equally of importance is for it to look as natural with your own hair. And
When
that's
it
where the challenge can come into play because sometimes it's very easy to see a line of demarcation, whether it's the quality of the hair you have added, the application by the professional, it could be a number of factors. So whatever you can use to help bridge that gap. And for me, it's really been the care for it really helps make it look like it's all my hair.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I can't tell. It looks gorgeous from here. So
Well, thank you.
mm-mm-mm. Going back to this idea of CBD, right? I know you mentioned too that this has no THC in it. So is it a full spectrum CBD? It's not a full spectrum, correct?
It's a full spectrum CBD, but what's unique about this is it's not just the cannabidiols. It's
Okay.
the cannabichromene and the cannabigerol.
Okay, but no
And
THC in
it's
this.
completely THC free.
Got
So
it.
there's no psychoactive component to it. So you can use CBD and know that you're not adding anything illicit, so to speak, to your hair care routine. Because we
So
know that's a common concern and people still ask that.
right. Of course. Yeah.
Because there's still so much misinformation after decades of a plant that's very beneficial being maligned for various reasons. And of course there are those aspects, but that's not CBD. That's a different part of the plant.
Right. And I got plenty of people who would use that different part of the plant who would
Yes.
tell you that it is life-changing in all the best ways too. So
Yes, of
whatever
course.
way you want. But I know for the people who are like, that's not my bag, baby. I don't want that. They can use this product knowing that there is no THC, there's no psychedelic. Boy, wouldn't that be fun though? If there was, I personally, I do not like THC. It's not my thing, but I mean, if they could have a shampoo that got you high in the morning, whoa, what a way to start your day. I'm
Hey,
sure there's a market
who
for that
knows what's
too.
out there now? You just
I'm
never
sure there's a market for
know.
that. Okay, so going back to this idea of CBD, I was thinking about this too because you do have the shampoo, you've got the conditioner. Sometimes I wonder with things like shampoo, with these ingredients that are so helpful, it is on our scalp for a fairly low amount of time, right? So are we seeing that kind of, you know, are we getting enough CBD if we're just shampooing, or you really need to do the shampoo, the conditioner, and then maybe like a product afterwards?
Well, because, the shampooing really affects, and what most people concentrate on is you're concentrating on the scalp. But then
True.
to that point, you really need to make sure that you're fortifying those mid shafts and those ends because that's your hair, that's the oldest,
Right.
and it needs a different level of care and a different level of support. So by applying from root to tips, and whether it's the shampoo or the conditioner, you are getting those benefits. And it is showing that you don't need to leave this on for an hour or do it 3 times a day. You really are with your own wash routine. And to your point, you said, you're seeing baby hairs and the quality of your hair changing as it's coming in. That's just from your usual wash schedules. And that's very impactful and speaks to that entourage effect and how well these CBDs work together.
And FYI, I wash my hair like 3 times a week max.
Good for
So
you. I'm on the same boat.
I try to do it as little as humanly possible. Of course, now we're coming into summer, so it will be a little bit more, which brings me to another good point. Summer hair, like you said before, we are seeing, I find that there is so much damage. You're going out, you're outside more. For those of us who
Yes.
live in colder climates, the weather changes. Plus, you've got the sun, you're going to the beach, there's chlorine, there's salt if you're going in the ocean. Does CBD offer some layer of protection against those kind of elements?
Well, because of the nourishing aspects of it, you're actually helping to fortify the hair. And when
Okay.
your hair is fortified and it's getting nourished, it's better able to withstand that kind of environmental damage. So to your
Okay.
point, the wind,
Now,
the lake water, I'm still, now I'm flat ironing it because it's hot and humid out. So it really is providing those additional benefits. And then of course, with, tech innovations that have been added to these formulas, you're able to create those styling effects that you're looking for no matter what time of year it is. For example, in our repair line, we have our instant frizz remedy, which is when you apply that to the hair and style it into the hair, you're not only getting the nourishment from the CBD, you're also getting that hydrophobicity. So it's resisting voila, there it is. You're resisting the humidity and you're actually locking in moisture and preventing the cuticle from lifting for up to 5 washes. So you're getting that long-term frizz benefit. And like you said, you wash 3 times a week. I'm 3 times a week. We're finding out a lot more people wash less frequently. And the other aspect that's great about CBD is it regulates sebum production in the scalp. So whether you're too dry, whether you're too oily, it really helps to put that balance back into the scalp as kind of an added outside benefit. So you're not going to be so reliant on additional products to keep your hair looking clean and looking vibrant between those shampoos. Because the last thing you want to do is add a lot of, dry texture or powder that can build up or look chalky. And, if you want to keep your routine, as clean as possible and as little as possible on your hair, it really comes down to just getting that balance back in your scalp.
I love that. And speaking of other things I love about these products, I think with a lot of CBD products, they still kind of smell like a college dorm a little bit, even when they don't have the THC. These products smell so good. They are so delicious. I love it. It's like a rich scent, like a beautiful, it's not too flowery, it's not too fruity. It's just delicious. So thank you for that because yeah, my hair's
Oh,
smelling really
thank
good
you.
right now.
The fragrances are incredible. And I find even sometimes throughout the day, I'll grab like the volume spray and just spray it around just to smell it. I'm like, ooh,
You
it
know,
not only works on my hair, but my mood feels a little bit better now too.
So I have to tell you again, I'm always honest about when I've used a product, when I haven't. So this volumizing spray, if you have flat hair, this is gorgeous. So if you're a person also who uses mousse, which can get a little bit sticky, I have found that this is going to give you that same volume without the stick. And I got a really great little tip on applying it from one of your educators, which was instead of, you can spray it, so it's a spray bottle, you can spray it in here, but she was like, spray it into your hands first, and it's liquid, and then kind of zhuzh around, which I love that tip. So that's what I've been doing. And I've noticed, with keratined flat hair that gets rid of the frizz, it will be no volume. And between the shampoo, the conditioner, and this volumizing spray, it's phenomenal. It's game changer.
That boost that you're missing, and you're
Yeah.
able to enjoy the boost, but still keep your smoothness from your treatment, which is nice. And the other aspect too that you touched upon is, you don't get that stickiness, you don't get that buildup. The formula is alcohol free, which is something
Important.
that's really key to our volume line, is that there are no drying alcohols in it. So that
And
you
this
do
is
get the hit.
also, the shampoo is sulfate free.
Yes, all of our shampoo formulas are sulfate free.
That was the other thing. A lot of the sulfate free shampoos don't
Lather.
lather really well. This lathers beautifully.
Oh,
It
thank you.
really does. It really does. And now I'm a fan of a double wash. I don't know about you, but I feel like I talk to so many different hairstylists and they're always like, do a double shampoo, especially because I only wash like 2 to 3 times a week. But they're like, the first one at your scalp is going to get, rid of that first initial grease and grime. And then just do a second one to kind of really help to like clean the hair.
Yeah, get
What are
rid
your
of the
thoughts on
hair
that?
pollute. Hey, you know what? It really is up to personal preference. No one knows their hair better than the person whose head it's growing from. And you know what works best. You know what your water type is where you live.
Ah,
And
good
that
point.
makes a big difference. A lot of places, unless you have a water softener, a lot of times those hard minerals, and depending on the porosity of the hair, really will determine how much you do need to wash. It really does have an effect. So if your hair is latching on to minerals, it's going to naturally get heavier quicker and it's going to feel dirtier quicker. So
Man,
if you find that a two wash works for you, then that's what your hair needs.
I don't want to digress here too much, but I had a water softener in my house growing up. And let me tell you, if you are building a home, if you're moving to a home, if you have an option to have that option, it is a game changer because you're using
It
less
is.
product. They lather more. I mean, it's probably an expensive investment. I don't know. Thank you, Dad, for putting one in our house. But here in New York City, in my apartment, we definitely don't have one. When I go somewhere that has one, I can tell because you're using so much less product. It just everything feels better. So I think in the long run, you probably save a lot of money if you're a beauty person like ourselves. Gotta also say these are a really nice price point, right? So I think everything in the line is under what, $30 in that range?
Well, it depends. The stylers range around $28. The shampoo
Okay.
are in the mid 30s.
Okay.
And
But
some are up, some are in like around the $40 range. So
which one's in the $40 range?
that would be the curl.
The curl line. Okay, so I don't have
Yeah.
that one here. I gotta tell you too, I mentioned this before. So this shampoo, which is what, about 30 something
30,
dollar
I believe that's 34.
that I have only been using. I feel like this has lasted me months.
Well, that's great.
Months.
It speaks to, the concentration of the formula. Another aspect, I know I keep saying this aspect and that aspect, but it's true. We really want to be less reliant on synthetics
Yeah.
to affect a result. And we really lean into more of using more naturally derived ingredients. We know that's what the customer is looking for. We know that's important to the stylist, because they want something that's more eco-friendly and more environmentally sound. And we've been able to source and identify those ingredients so that they do create that effect. And you're not putting something that's so synthetic on your hair. You're actually getting those great natural benefits and feeling good about it.
I love that. And you know what? There was a girl who was asking me just the other day about hair care products on our YouTube channel. And I was like, Leaf and Flower is definitely one of my faves.
Oh, thank
So
you.
another interesting product that you have here is this 7-minute blowout. So what is the magic behind this?
Well, the magic with the 7-minute blowout is again tapping into a tech that was just recently released that creates that instant hydrobophicity to the hair. So it's helping to push out the moisture along with asparagus extract, I'm sorry, not asparagus, artichoke extract, which helps push water out of the hair and helps you dry it at least 50% faster than if you didn't use it. So you're getting that latest innovative tech combined with the natural of the artichoke leaf, and you're able to cut that hot styling time by 50%.
I mean, another game changer, especially if you have long hair like you and I. Before we go, you did mention, so what, Leaf and Flower is a fairly new brand. You launched, I feel like, right at the beginning of COVID, right?
We launched in September of 2019, so right ahead of it.
I mean, just out of it. No better time to start a new business.
Yeah, we didn't have a crystal ball, but who does?
But one of the interesting things too, and I think it really lends to the credibility of your brand, is that you are both a consumer focused brand, but you also have a line of professional products.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about the pro products.
So what's unique, and it's kind of a hybrid, we refer to our line as a hybrid line because stylists do use our products like the Instant Frizz Remedy at their stations, and they're creating CBD blowouts for their clients. So we have 4 different blowouts that stylists perform at their station, whether it's the ultimate CBD blowout, it's a curl blowout, or it's a volume blowout. They're using that suite of products to create that effect. And then those customers can in turn purchase those products and bring them home to enjoy those same results and to really help get the best out of their hair utilizing CBD between appointments with their stylist.
So there's no difference in the professional sort of treatment products
For the retail, where the difference does come in are the in-salon services, which we have the 3-in-1 molecular mender. And I believe, did you have the 3-in-1 molecular mender at the event?
I did not, but I'm very excited to try. There's a new volume one that I'm excited to try. I didn't do the molecular because I just done keratin. So it was like, it didn't make sense. So I am excited to try the volume treatment.
Well, we're excited for you to try it. It's our CBD Pro Volumizing treatment, and it's giving you that lift and that fullness to the hair, but it's unique in that it's like a styler meets a treatment.
Okay.
So you're getting those results, but they're lasting 5 washes.
Got it. Okay. And so I do want to point out, so they do, so Leaf and Flower does offer in-salon services. I know you can find it by going to the Leaf and Flower website. You can find a salon locator. But those are different. Those are not, so you can purchase these retail. A lot of the styles will use the shampoo, this retail, but then there are a select set of in-salon only treatments that you can get. Love that. And how have those been taken off?
Those have been doing fantastic because results are so immediate, but they also have the longevity that stylists are now finding that when they're booking appointments, whether it's for a haircut or a color, those clients that they first did the 3-in-1 molecular mender on, or even their fine thin hair clients with the volumizing treatment, they're booking that ahead of time with their next appointment because those results are cumulative.
Got it. Oh my gosh. I feel like it's been forever since I've had a blowout. Oh, I miss that. I miss having my hair done.
Well, treat yourself. Your hair looks fantastic. You do a great job styling it yourself.
Thank you. Well, you know what? Part of it is because working from home, I think I stopped doing so much damage to it, because when you were talking about all the damage before, being outside, the salt, the sun, the heat, the sleeping, all the coloring now, the treatments, I was like, yep.
Yeah, it does. And I don't think
it adds up.
Yeah, I don't think we really realize it until we're sitting in the stylist chair and they're, performing a service and saying, "Ooh, it looks like you went a little crazy with the flat iron since the last time I saw you."
Yeah,
we're all a little guilty, but if we can get the help from care and styling products that, understand that these are, daily things that happen, let's work to mitigate those and keep your hair and make your hair healthier as it grows.
I love that. Stacey, I want to thank you so much for being on here with us today. If people want to know more about Leaf and Flower, where can they go?
They can find us online at leafandflower.com. And we have our salon locator like you spoke about. So you can find salons in your area that offer our in-salon treatments as well as offer our in-salon services at the blowout stations. And of course, everything that you can take home to keep your hair, whatever the texture is, looking and feeling healthy and more predictable.
I love that. And of course, if you have any questions you want to ask me, because this volume line is NewBeauty approved and also Art Beauty approved. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. You can always write us at hello@artbeautypodcast.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday, hopefully with a little bit more glamorous, beautiful hair. Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you, Amber.